At approximately 8:30 a.m. this morning, a call was made to the Chillicothe Police Department stating an ID card had been found in a large lot near the dead end of North Rose Street. A Chillicothe Police Department sergeant went to that scene. He was informed by the caller that the Ohio ID card was found near the flood wall. The sergeant was taken to the location where he located various items, including a shoe. Other officers were summoned to that scene, and the body of a white female was located approximately 200 yards away near a fence line close to the intersection of Hardin Drive and North Brownell Street. The female was pronounced dead at the scene by the Ross County Coroner's Office. That victim had signs of injury to her body. She was taken for an autopsy. At this time, positive identification has not yet been made. Also, at this time, there is no evidence at the scene to indicate in any way that this homicide is related to any of the current missing women's cases currently being investigated in Ross County. This is a very fresh and active investigation, and more information will be released when it becomes available. We'll answer a couple of quick questions.
Can you describe what position she was in, how she was found in relation to that fence, and how you think she got there in that position?
She was found dangling from the fence. Two workers actually removed her. When the PD officers found her, she was away from the fence. She was on the ground. But at one point, she had been attempting to climb over that fence.
You believe she was trying to climb the fence?
Possibly. That's what it looked like.
What were the obvious signs of trauma?
I can't release that at this time.
When you say that you have not made a positive ID yet, even though you found the ID card near her, is that because there was some sort of disfiguring of the body that you can't connect the ID card with the face?
There's no disfiguring to that body. That we've heard that rumor that the face was mutilated, and that's not the case.
So you don't think that it's concerning has any affected her other things that's missing as well?
At this point, there's no evidence to say there is, but there's also no evidence to say that there's not. We're investigating this as a homicide on its own. If there's any evidence to link it to the others, then we'll certainly look at that.
I think one of the questions you may want to be asking, I think you're maybe trying to ask, is that it doesn't appear to be one of the missing women that was discovered. If that's the question you're asking, it's a different individual.
I know I was told it wasn't Charlotte, but I was just wondering if it was someone that they knew, someone that they known.
Not that we know at this time.
Is this an area like the dead end of Brownell near that fenced off area where prostitutes are known to frequent, or a high drug area with heroin, anything like that?
There's some vice crimes, drug crimes that occur in that area. It's kind of out of the way. It's right by the flood wall, so any time there's any type of illegal activity, we usually receive a call on it just based on the amount of foot and bicycle travel that occur on the flood wall.
We're hearing she did not have shoes on, and she appears to be climbing a fence. Was she running from someone?
We don't know that yet. It's too early to speculate.
Did any neighbors, anybody report hearing anything, seeing anything? Anybody try to reach out to help somebody that was in need or something like that?
No.
No, there was none of that, and in fact, we would ask if anybody had heard or seen anything, please contact the Chillicothe Police Department to let us know, because so far, no one in the area reported hearing anything.
What will it take for a positive ID? What needs to happen before you guys are able to...
They're going to do an autopsy on the body tomorrow, and they're going to confirm that with fingerprint identification. And understand, until that's confirmed scientifically, we don't release the name for the family's sake.
Neighbors who saw the body this morning said that they could not identify any facial features. Was the trauma to the body so bad that you could not identify the body?
No, that's an inaccurate report.
How long do you believe the body was on the fence before you found it?
I think the short answer is that is we don't know yet, and that'll be something we're going to explore through the autopsy to hopefully get some more idea of how long she was possibly there.
Can you talk about how she was actually attached to the fence? Was her clothing caught, or
Clothing was caught, asleep.
she was hanging by that?
Yes.
Sheriff?
Sorry, go ahead. What tells you that she was attempting to climb, and where do we think was she heading into the property, inside the fenced area, or in the other direction? Do we know anything about that?
I think the safe answer is we don't know yet. I think a lot of it's speculation. It would be very difficult for a person to get up there if they weren't climbing that themselves from that position. But we don't have the answer to that at this point, to be honest with you.
Are you going to check in to see if by any chance that it's all connected with the same ones that the group of people that whoever's doing this?
Absolutely. Like I said, this investigation is very fresh, so we're not going to leave any stone uncovered here. We're going to look at every possibility.
The ID that was found, was it an ID of a male or female?
Female.
Have you been able to identify that female and make contact with that female?
We cannot answer that question at this time. So that's the ID that information will be released once we make a positive identification on the body.
So the local female?
I'm not going to answer that question right now.
So what do you say to folks in the community who, whether this is connected or not, you've had a period where every couple of months a woman has turned up dead or missing. Obviously, the supposition and the feeling is going to be, this has to be related.
I think that's jumping to conclusions. Listen, we've taken the approach that you can't rule that out. And we're looking for any evidence of interconnection between the missing and deceased women. There's no red flag at this point that says this is connected to them, but we can't say for sure that it's not. And you've got to look at that. If you're asking for what we can say to the community is, listen, the best thing I can tell anyone is not that you should be fearful of this community, but don't be out in the wee hours of the morning unless you have a legitimate place to go, and don't put yourself at risk. That's what I would tell the community.
In response to this, is there going to be any more beefed up patrols, more safety, kind of a focus in that area to make sure that something like this doesn't repeat itself again? What else are you going to do differently now?
The city police department, the sheriff's office, and the Ross County Highway Patrol, we just hit that area a week and a half ago with increased enforcement.
Why was that?
What had happened was we had concentrated on the area of Bridges 2nd, had a perimeter around that area. We hit that really hard. A lot of the problems with prostitution and drugs had moved further east. So we moved our patrols further east. We're going to re-examine our tactics, and we'll put more officers in that area.
Does the ID match somebody who law enforcement is familiar with?
I can't answer. Yeah.
Any shell casings found in the area?
No.
Have you noticed the pattern since all this started that usually one girl comes up missing and they find one dead?
Good question.
I guess the short answer to that is no. There's not a pattern of connectivity at this point, like you're suggesting.
What about the pattern of being near water and water?
This woman was not in water. She was in the area of the flood wall. So, no. I guess I would answer there's nothing of relevance at this point. But understand we're looking at that. That's why we have a task force.
Chief, how do you expect to get additional information out? You'll expect perhaps a preliminary cause of death and an identification tomorrow then?
Yes.
And how will you get that information out to us?
We will send that out via email, mass email to all the media outlets.
And any update on Ernest Moore? This was the last big story as part of this case. He was a person of interest in the missing.
Ernest Moore? Ernest
Yes.
Moore is in jail and has been there
I
for
know.
quite some time.
Any updates, any new information he's provided on past cases since he was a huge person of interest
That
at
Ernest
the
Moore has
time?
provided?
On past
No.
cases?
No, Ernest Moore has not provided any information.
This property, is it AEP property? It looks like it's a substation of some sort.
Yes. AEP property.
Is it a construction site, that big empty lot? Are they building something?
They're actually adding on. I believe they're adding a parking lot to park some of the equipment.
Are you guys still seeing a large number of calls to the tip line? Has that dropped off recently? Are you able to comment on the numbers you guys are getting?
We're still daily getting several tips to the tip line on a daily basis, so yes, that has it, stayed about steady.
Has it maybe picked up today? Is it picked up today in light of?
No, as of the last checking, no, it has not.
So you said that your efforts at about a week and a half ago had shifted to that area where this individual was kind of a perimeter. Did the person look like somebody had spoken to her in the past? It was somebody that somebody may have recognized when you went out there, that maybe you'd had an encounter with this individual in the past, the victim.
I can't comment on that.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your time.
I think we're gonna run into.
Yeah.
Let's just go out here.